Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, yeah, Kentucky and the Vols, they took a loss on Saturday. That was very frustrating. And Arkansas, they're sinking fast. I'm telling you, the John Calipari experiment is not going so well in Arkansas land. I'm wondering if he didn't make a mistake mentally by leaving Kentucky when he did. Now, I think it was good for Kentucky. And at the time, I thought this could work for Arkansas. But I don't know that his heart's still in it anymore. I don't know. He seemed kind of odd when he went to Arkansas. He was talking about, you know, he was staying in this apartment. He didn't like it. And it's just a lot of things were bothering him.
And then depression set in.
In his office, he didn't like that. And he was used to everything being a certain way. So I'm wondering if he's starting to lose interest in basketball. Maybe. Let's take a look and see what's going on here. Then we'll talk about some individual games. Auburn held on against Georgia without their best player, so that was a really good win without Braum. Alabama and Kentucky, that was a good game. I'll come back to that in a minute and talk about it. But Alabama beat them at Rupp, which is a really good win for Alabama. They're a top 5 team for a reason. Texas and Florida. Florida just beat the crap out of them at Florida. Tennessee almost came back. We'll talk about that game here in a minute, but they came close to making this a overtime game. Texas A&M beats LSU, no surprise there. It was at Texas A&M. Mississippi State wins a home game in overtime against Ole Miss. You know that was a heated game. Oklahoma beats, South Carolina 0-5. Good grief. What are you doing, SC? And then Missouri whoops up on Arkansas. I mean, that's bad. All right, now I watched about all of this Alabama-Kentucky game. It was a really strong offensive game for both teams. The start of it, man, people were hitting those threes like crazy. I was like, good grief. And as you can see, they 102-97. That's almost an NBA type game. Grant Nelson, what is the deal with Grant Nelson? You got to be kidding me with this guy. He looks like he can't do anything out there, but all he does is everything well. He looks gangly. He looks like he doesn't shoot very well. Somehow he gets rebounds. He's almost like a poor man's Larry Bird. I mean, just everything he does doesn't look right, but he just kills it. 11 rebounds, 25 points, 2 assists. I mean, he's a great player. He just doesn't look like a great player. Now, you look down here at Mark Sears. Now, this guy scored 24 points, didn't score as many as Nelson, but he's like Billy D. Williams out there, man. He is a cool cat. He's out there stroking those left-handed three-pointers like it's nothing. I mean, he makes 24 points look good. Nelson makes 25 points look bad. But anyway, I wish we had Grant Nelson. I'd be glad to have him on my team. Kentucky was led by Oweh with 21, and Amari Williams had 13. Lamont Butler had 17, so their guards played pretty well. Jackson Robinson had 11. Look, everybody was scoring in this ball game. And this is the first loss for Mark Pope at Rupp Arena, which I call the Death Star. That's a very difficult place to play, and that crowd was into it. Like I said, Alabama is a Final Four type team, and that's what's required to beat Kentucky up there. The Tennessee game, I thought we wouldn't even make it close there at the end. We were down 10 points with just a few minutes to go, but we just kept scoring. We literally had a chance to tie that ball game. Lanier, if he hits those 2 free throws at the end, he hit the first one and the second one went in and out. So he scored 17 points. He came out of his slump, and Ziegler had 16. Okpara played well. Millisek played well. Our defense wasn't very good. They scored a lot of points. Edwards had 18. And what happened with Vanderbilt, they got hot at the first of that second half, really hot, and hit 5 3-pointers in a row. And this is the most points anybody scored on Tennessee all year. Our defense, I tell you, we just could not handle those screens. They were up the top, and they would screen off, and the guy would just break right through, and we couldn't fight through them. And that offense seemed to give us fits. They out-rebounded us. And I tell you, playing on the road, even if you're playing a team that you may be better than, when you play on the road, it's 5 or 10 points. It is in football and it is in basketball. That momentum's a very real thing. You start hitting those threes, and they were on fire. I mean, you could feel the momentum just pulling for Vanderbilt through that second half, and then they almost choked it at the end. It's hard for Vanderbilt to beat Tennessee. Even at home, it's such a big win for them. And I'm not taking anything away from them, but they did kind of choke there at the end. But they won the ball game, and hey, when it's all said and done, that's all that's going to matter. And this will probably give them a heck of an opportunity to get in the NCAA tournament without too much trouble, because that's a big quadrant 1 win for them. So Auburn stays in the driver's seat at 5-0. And I told you they're a deep team. They've won 10 in a row. Alabama's now in second, tied with Missouri and Ole Miss. Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and Texas A&M are all stuck in the same category here, which would be 1, 2, 3. What are we down there in fifth place? Yeah, tied for fifth. And then you got Oklahoma, Texas, and LSU down here not happy. And then, my gosh, Arkansas and South Carolina. I don't know what you do with Arkansas. They are loaded with talent. They've got 5-star after 5-star, #1 transfer portal, all of that good stuff. And they just can't win a ball game. I've really tried to be fair with Calipari, and I've never said he was a great coach. He's an average coach. I don't know if he's average anymore. I'm starting to see that. Now, I've been telling the Arkansas folks not to give up, that normally what he does, he takes time to get his team meshed together. That's just, he's a slow starter. He's been that way at Kentucky for the last 10 years. And then by the end of the year, they're really good. That still very much could happen. And maybe getting beat this bad will light a fire under him. It's hard to say. I just don't know how much fire he's got left when it comes to coaching. That exit out of Kentucky was ugly, and I think it kind of broke his heart a little bit. I don't think he understood how tired Kentucky people were of him, and I think it hurt his feelings, is what it boiled down to. He thought everybody liked him, and they were tired of him. And he said before he took that job, that was a 10-year job, not to stay past that, and he stayed past his expiration date. So that's kind of on him. He knew that going into it. He said it's a pressure cooker. You got to win at a really high level, and once you stop winning, they're going to turn on you. So he 100% knew it. So I'm not going to feel sorry for him or cry any crocodile tears, but he needs to get it turned around. I don't know what's going on with South Carolina. They were really good last year. They were a tough team, and they are having a terrible time. They've lost 5 in a row, all SEC games. They may have been a bit of a paper tiger in preseason, and now it's kind of showing up. We'll see what happens there. That surprises me. I thought they would at least be a 500 club in SEC, and it's not happening. So anyway, did want to update on this SEC basketball and what's going on with some of these teams. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, hit this little button right here. It won't cost you a dime. Help you get my videos. And right over here is the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. We'll see you next time with Sports Talk Jay.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.